All right, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you live through YouTubers. YouTubers? I don't know what the hell a YouTuber is. I guess I'm a YouTuber. Joining me on this gloomy Sunday morning, the 4th of March, is Mr. Daniel Burrows of Parlor something. He's gonna fill us in on it. Take it away, Daniel.
Thanks for having me, John. Yeah, so my name's Daniel. I run Parlor. Parlor is so a lot of people know us as Crap Monocle. We've been rebranding over the last year. We're kind of taking it over to Parlor. We're trying to kind of rebuild and refocus our branding. So historically, people know me as Crap Monocle that does that Tephra game, the Steampunk RPG, which John has right behind him. Oh, and I have a copy here too.
Chilling away.
But we've been working a lot on kind of expanding what we're doing. So we have, not only do we have new Tephra material coming out soon, we also have a sci-fi RPG called Scape that we've been working on. And we're about a month or two away from releasing a kind of slimmed down fantasy game. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. For those of you that haven't played the game, Tephra is a super cool. It's a different take on steampunk. A lot of steampunk we see is like Cthulhu era, or not era, but Cthulhu type or very much turn of the century Victorian style. And this one's a fantasy steampunk. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that, Daniel?
Sure. So you pretty much nailed it. Like half, if not half, like 90% of steampunk that I see kind of has this Cthulhu kind of horror element to it. Sure. I really wanted a more utopian style steampunk. I get really into the big brass and on the trains and driving through the city. Like those sorts of elements. I also wanted a heroic steampunk. Trying to remember the movie. I was watching a Disney movie at some point. I think it was like Twisted. It's the new Rapunzel Disney movie. And there's this scene where the main character like gets on his horse and he gallops off to save the princess, and it's really exciting. And I realized watching that movie that steampunk doesn't have a lot of those sorts of characters. It doesn't have the heroic moments that like high fantasy has. And so that's one of the things I really wanted to capture was a steampunk game that could give you those high heroic, high fantasy sort of moments where you feel like, you're off to save the princess or rescue the kingdom or whatever sort of badass thing that you want to do, and it's not necessarily just zombies are invading or, sort of like a Cthulhu horror mystery, which those are fun, don't get me wrong, but Tephra's designed for a little bit more heroic sort of game.
One of the things I played it. Oh, I'm getting a little echo here. I played it. Is that mine? Let me close.
Is that me? Could be me.
No, it's me. I think. Oh, you're on speaker. You're pushing your speakers, so that's what I'm getting feedback from. That's okay. I played it at ChupacabraCon 2 years ago, I believe it was, and wow! I mean, I was immediately sucked in. I mean, it was such a different genre, and I've played. Those that follow my channel, they know I play a little bit of everything. And the quality of the books, I actually did a review of your game on my channel. It was one of the earlier reviews that I did when I first started this channel. And I just had so much fun with it. I believe you were there, your guys were there, and I bought everything at the time that you had, which is pretty much everything that's back there, except for the familiar book. I think that's relatively newer, yes?
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, and I picked that up at, I think, my favorite local game store, Etten Game in Houston, or Humble. And I remember you had a young lady there. She had never GM'd before, and you threw her, so everybody, Daniel's a dick, threw her in the fire. I mean, here's a book, here's a D12, which, point of note, you only need one D12 to play the game, which is actually kind of cool. And I mean, she was so nervous. She was sweating bullets. And to her credit, she did a great job. And it made me go to his booth, your booth, and buy everything that was there. So kudos to you for having a good demo person with you, and I mean, everybody that played the game really liked it. Nobody walked away afterwards and went, "Oh man, that sucked." You know, they did complain about playing with that Mr. Mean guy, but he's a jerk. Everybody knows that.
What can you do?
You can't pick your players, right? I mean,
I wish you could.
I wish you could. Yeah. So Tephra is definitely unique among its peers. Production quality is really nice. Now, was this a Kickstarter?
It was. We kickstarted back. God, it was about 7 years ago now. So we did a Kickstarter. We did really well from kind of a advertising and success rate. We wanted $1,000. We ended up with $23,000. Now I will admit I was like 23 at the time, and I really had no idea how to use that much money. So it took us a little longer than it should have to fulfill everything.
So hookers and blow, in other words, is what you're saying.
No, I admit to nothing. But no, it was a very successful Kickstarter. We had a lot of fun with it. And I'm really happy that took off as well as it did.
Yeah. Now, what did that Kickstarter fund? Was it everything pretty much back there, or did it just produce what you had? The GM screen, the narrator's toolkit, which that was a Kickstarter thing, right? Because I think it even says on the cover. I can't read it from here because I'm blind. But what all did that fund with the initial Kickstarter? What books did everybody get as a backer?
So the Kickstarter was primarily for the core book. When we started the Kickstarter, our intention was to still do print-on-demand softcover. So we weren't planning on doing anything like too fancy. And then when it really took off, and I was like, oh, crap, I have more than like 20 people to give this book to. That's when I started looking at it. I was like, okay, we have enough money. We can get a real hardcover print run. We can get a big public or a big printer to do it. And so we did. And we really we flew in unguided. I had no idea what to expect. My young self dropping $12K just for books was quite a bit. And then getting 4 pallets of books delivered to my house. I was like, oh God, I'm in like a little college apartment. I don't know what to do with this.
You were sleeping on books.
Yeah. Oh man, it was crazy. There were so many books, boxes of books. But yeah, so getting the Tephra book in hardcover, that was kind of the main thing. The Kickstarter Adversary book was also another thing published. The Kickstarter Adversary book was one where someone could give us money and we would take their Tephra character and write up a full backstory and give them stats and turn them into a real kind of Tephra NPC in the world. So that was a pretty major book that came out. Everything after that, the Narrator's Accomplice, all the expansions, those were all separate. Those weren't included. But definitely the Kickstarter gave us the momentum and the backing to get those things published.
Can't beat that.
No, it was a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah. So as being a smaller, obviously a very small press, indie press, one of the things I've heard from a lot of the people that I've been talking to that are on my channel, on my Discord channel, is that, and I really, I did notice, it's the whole reason I created this channel, is I went out there looking for, these games like Tephra and The Dark Eye, and I'm looking around my room trying to find shit. All these small indie press type games, Zombie Squad, and I couldn't really find reviews on them. I couldn't find anything. I'd find a couple, let's play kind of deals, but I couldn't find any information, so to speak. And so that's where all my friends said, John, you've got a face for radio. And so it led me to create this YouTube channel, as you can tell. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback, to be honest. And the cool part is, I don't go over extensive rules. I just give you my thoughts on the book and what I like about it, what I don't like about it. And everyone knows one of my big pet peeves is consistent art or art that conveys a theme. And that leads me to my next subject, which is the art in Tephra. Do you have like one artist, or was it a pool of artists, or is it your friends? Because the art in the book is really good. I mean, for a small press game, You know, you don't have any of the big names behind you. It's you, as you said, working out of your college apartment, hookers and blow. I mean, it was rough. I mean, I get it. But the nice part is the art is very consistent throughout the book. The flavor, the black and white panels, everything is really well done. And so, I mean, tell us about the art behind the book.
The art came from a gentleman named Victor Helton. Victor did, I think, 90% of the art in this book. I think there's a couple pieces that slipped in that aren't his, but by and large, it's his. Victor's now one of my best friends. It didn't start off that way. It started off with me working on Tephra and looking for an artist, and I kind of put out the feelers through my friends groups. And I had a friend down in San Antonio who was like, hey, I know this guy. He's really good. You should check him out. I was like, okay, cool. So we met up at IHOP one morning and talked for hours.
Where all great business starts, IHOP.
Yeah, exactly. It was it was awful, but you know, that's what it is.
It got you here today, right?
Exactly. So Victor and I, we hung out for a little while, and we decided it was the right fit, and that was kind of the end of the story. He joined up and made a huge contribution, because Victor was one of those artists that I could say, hey man, we have this specialty, or we have this idea, and he would just kind of sit down and go like, okay, cool, let me make something that kind of fits. That's awesome. It would just turn out brilliant. And I was always flabbergasted. I was always just like, how did you make something that like I couldn't even consider? So yeah, he was kind of a perfect fit, and he really defined the Tephra art style kind of early on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everything in the book is super cool. And those for you out in the world that think this is super easy, I want to let you know, I had the live stream all set up. I had a cool Tephra background. Everything looked awesome. And then I fucking touched something. So I had to immediately create this stream. So for anybody who's looking for the really cool art and everything, tough shit, I screwed it up. Come to this stream. There's 4 viewers right now. So, hey, Daniel, you're famous with 4 people. So
4 people, I'll take it.
Yeah, what more could you ask for, right? I mean, you can retire now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
I think so. I unfortunately have to keep working like a slob, but I reposted it on a couple different G+ sites. Actually, I should probably be nice and put it on my Facebook, but nah, I'm not nice. Let's see, what else? We've got, tell us what's exactly out for Tephra and where we can buy it.
Absolutely. So, of course, the main thing is Tephra, the steampunk role-playing game playing guide. The playing guide has everything that you really need to get started. So it's 200 pages on character creation. We have a full narrating section. There's lore in it. There's races in it. There's the full combat section. So it's literally everything that you need. You can get that at parlorgaming.com. You can also get it at tephrarpg.com or crackedmonocle.com. Yeah, anything like that. If you search Tephra, you're going to find it.
Drive-through RPG?
You can get it at Drive-through RPG. The soft cover, so we currently don't have the hardcover available online. But the soft cover is available either through my website or at Amazon. So you can go to Amazon, search Tephra. You're going to find all my books there too. The nice thing about, well, so there's a funny kind of balance here. So you can buy it on Amazon and you'll get your book in 2 days, or you can buy your book through me and you're going to get a free PDF with it, but it's going to take like 3 weeks to get to you. So
that's if you don't forget and, you know, sleep on it.
Yeah, you know, the hookers will know. It's
throw it back at me, man. I love it. You to be an asshole. So you're saying each book comes complimentary with hookers and blow? No.
Yes. That's
Don't make that promise, man. You'll get people going, I ordered the book and where's my hooker? You don't want that heat, man, at a convention. Some 400-pound guy come to, I ordered a book and I didn't get a hooker. You don't want that, Daniel. You don't want that heat, man. I'm telling you. Because I'm going to order 3 right now if it comes with a hooker. I mean,
it's a great price.
It's a great price. I don't know what kind of hooker you can get for like what? How much is the book retail?
Like $25.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna pass on that. That's gonna be a hard pass. $25 hooker. We're not in Bangkok, bro.
Nope.
That's not the kind of woman I want to see or guy. So we don't hate here on Mr. Mean. No, that's phenomenal. So if we order it directly through you, and that would be Parlor through the Parlor website, and so you'll get a PDF copy of the book as well.
Yes. So you can buy the book for just $10 via PDF, or you can get the full soft cover and PDF for $25.
So there's no more hardcovers?
There are hardcovers, but there's like 40 of them, and they are living in my house for conventions. So currently, the only way that you get a hardcover is you either come visit me or you see me at a convention.
And what's your address so everybody can stop by?
I'll message you afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll tweet that out. I don't even know what it is. I'm a grognard, man. You see all this gray? I mean, I tweet. That's what birds do. Shit. No, that's awesome. And you'll be at, speaking of going to conventions and getting it, you'll be at ChooperCabraCon, yes?
I will be. So ChooperCabraCon in May in Austin. It's one of my favorite conventions. We've gone every year, and we just have a blast.
I will tell you, the year I met you, and trust me, I take no offense if you don't remember meeting me. At that time, I didn't have a beard. But that was the worst convention I'd ever gone to. Oh, it was horrible, dude. And I did a video.
Wow.
I had just started my channel, I think, earlier that year or at the end of the year before that. And I blasted Chuper. I was like, these guys suck. The lady that was working the front table was rude. I mean, I had signed up to run Dungeon Crawl Classic. I'm part of the road crew for Goodman Games. And what that is it's just a demo crew. They give us swag and they send you a bunch of stuff based on how many demos you've run for them. The stuff gets better and better as they send it to you. And then a lot of the stuff is to give out to the people that come play in your game. And DCC is kind of a modern retro clone, meaning it takes a lot of its ideas and everything from early D&D, but also uses a lot of like the D20 stuff and the 4th and 5th edition stuff. So it mashes it all together to make a very fast, fun, fantasy RPG. And so I had signed up months in advance to run the game and everything, and I got confirmation. And I was all excited. I'm getting into the con for free. I was going to pay for my wife. We had a hotel close by. Everything was golden. We get there, and I shit you not. Who are you? Well, I'm Mr. Mean. Should be in your book there. Sorry, I don't know who you are. I'm running Dungeon Crawl Classic. Sorry, don't know what that game is. Okay, can I speak to somebody in charge? I'm in charge. I mean, it was the worst customer service experience you could ever expect. And I mean, my wife was like, look, we just drove 4 hours. We're not turning around and driving home. So we paid like $75 to get in. And I was just not happy. I got to play in your game. I was happy. I got to hang out with Sean Patrick Fannin, who is a convention buddy of mine. Convention friends. You only ever see him or talk to him at conventions. But every time you see him, it's like best friends meeting, And Sean was awesome. Well, long story short, Sean saw the video. And Sean reached out to Terry and said, dude, this guy's pissed. You got to make this right. And I think at the time if I was lucky, I had 25 subscribers. I mean, not like I have a bunch now. I think I got like 310. But the point was I was just starting, and Sean knew me and I made an impression on him evidently, and he liked the video. And so, I mean, literally 10 minutes later, I get a call on my personal cell and I'm like, who the fuck is calling me? And it's Terry Weisenhout from some ChooperCabraCon staff. And he's like, John, is this John? And I'm like, yeah. And we go through it next year, which was last year, VIP for me and my wife, put us in a hotel. He said, if anything doesn't go the way you want it to go, you let me know. If I'm in the middle of a game, you interrupt it. And the guy bent over backwards. And so, of course, after the con, I gave a sterling review. And of course, I'll be back again this year. And just a very fun con. It was a comedy of errors and I'm happy to say that lady no longer works with ChupaCabraCon. She was let go at the end of that convention, according to what Terry told me. And sad for her, but her customer service skills were horrible at best. And so it's become one of my favorite local cons. And I live in Beaumont now, so I'm a little closer. I think it's only about 2.5 hours away now. But yeah, so I definitely go over there and look forward to seeing you and the rest of your crew. And when we go to this one, and those that are in the local area and decide to come to ChupaCabra, will there be anything new?
Sorry, say that again.
Will there be anything new?
Ooh, yes, I hope so, at least. So our goal, we've been working on a fantasy RPG. And so our goal is to have that released and ready to demo and ready to game while we're there. If the art and the editing all comes together, then we'll have books. It's kind of running against the clock.
A little tight.
Yeah, I plan on spending the next 12 hours today working on that. So
instead of wasting time with this grognard.
Yeah. Well, if no one buys the book, it was kind of a waste of time in the beginning. So might as well talk about it.
Hey, your fame has gone off. We got 6 viewers now, buddy.
Whoa.
Yeah. Of course, 3 of them are probably my family members, but don't let that bother.
The other 3 are probably just like Google search bots.
Misclicks.
Yeah.
It's like a freight train, though. You can't stop watching. That big hairy dude just keeps talking and talking and talking. Sometimes a handsome guy pops up on the screen. I don't know what the hell's going on. And what is the name of this aforementioned new fantasy RPG?
So it's called Volcanic Legends. So I have to build that one up. We start with Tephra back in the day.
Right.
And Tephra is a volcanic rock, which, some more backstory. When I randomly chose the word Tephra to be the name of the game, I had no idea what it meant.
And what does it mean?
Say again?
What does it mean?
Tephra is just it's a volcanic ash or volcanic rock. So when a volcano explodes, all the lava solidifies into Tephra.
Good to know. We've learned something new today on Mr. Mean.
Exactly. So I started working on this game called Tephra, and I was really excited. And I'm working on this fantasy steampunk game, and I'm calling it Tephra. And I'm just like, this is a nonsense fantasy word, Tephra. And then people are like, Tephra, like the volcanic rock? And I'm like,
sure.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
And by that point, I was too far into it. It's just what it was.
Yeah. Well, it's a good name. I mean, it's definitely unique. It's different. And it sticks out on a bookshelf. I mean, so that's a good thing. I mean, so kind of life imitates art or art imitates life, whatever. I mean, it's cool either way.
So we started working on a new system a couple years ago, and we decided that we would kind of riff off of Tephra and call it the Volcanic System. Just trying to make something that was exciting and explosive and fun and dynamic. We're like, oh, this is really volcanic. And I think it's funny because it goes with Tephra. But now, so we're about to release our fantasy game, which is really the goal of the fantasy game. It's just to prove that our new system works. It's to get the new system out there. It's to get it out there for cheap. We're trying to get a really simple, easy to access PDF out there that everyone will have access to. Everyone can play. Everyone can tell us how they like the system, what they would tweak, what their favorite parts are. And then we can kind of really start building from there and build Volcanic System into something that people are really into. The other game that we're working on is a game called Scape, which is a kind of electro swing, post-apocalyptic, jazzy sort of sci-fi game.
Okay.
But Scape is huge. It is a behemoth of a game. We have like 800 pages written on it. But every time that we tweak the core system, like we have to rewrite like 400 pages. And so we were like, okay, we have to stop this trend. We have to go make sure the core system is perfect and flawless and get the core system out there. And then we can finish the release Scape.
Yeah. Yeah. Put the cart before the horse. It doesn't work.
Exactly.
So So much like Microsoft, you're going to use the public as a beta tester.
Bingo. That's exactly what I want. I really like the fact that modern video games are able to, release something and tweak it multiple times.
Yeah.
And that's
the downside of that is when you pay $99 for that Uber set and you get a broken ass game. And
well, that does suck.
They're fixing it. I mean, can you say Star Wars Battlefront? I knew you could.
Well, I like the model of being able to release and iterate multiple times.
Sure.
And so that's not something that we really get with RPGs.
No.
Like when it comes to an RPG, like you release the RPG, someone gets the book. It's really hard for me as a designer to go in and be like, oh, page number 27 has this problem. Let's update. I can't do that.
Right. Software patch or DLC that fixes that.
Exactly.
You've already got the book. You're stuck.
And likewise,
that's the bane of every publisher. We
yes.
talked about this in some of my other videos with other guys. When you're doing people don't understand that the PDF does not survive the printer because it looks great on your computer, and then you send it off to print, and then that's when you find, for whatever reason, that's when you find all those glaring errors. And I was talking with Bear from Taphra. He's got a game right now called Biomundus, which looks fantastic. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, go check it out. But one of the things he's fully expects, he's in the process stage right now. He fully expects to go back and forth with the printer about 5 times before he gets the proper copy, and he has to tweak it. And he has a professional game editor, tabletop RPG editor that's done books in the past working on his project. So, and even still, he's expecting a minimum of 5 trips back and forth from the printer to him. And that, people have this fallacy that the magical game fairy just goes poof and a game appears on your shelf ready to be purchased. And there's a lot of one of the things I like to bring across this channel that nobody else talks about is the blood, sweat, and tears that goes through the design process of making them. You said it earlier, you're going to spend the next 12 hours today on your day off from your full-time job working on this labor of love, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He's shaking his head. Damn you, Mr. Mean, you got it right. Thanks for bringing to light my horror.
Well, so our narrator's accomplice, which we released back last year, that book's like, it's full of monsters and it has tons and tons and tons of art in it. And I never released a book that had that much art in it. Well, just trying to get the PDF to render correctly so that I could send it to the printer and the printer could read it as a non-corrupt file, that took me months. That whole book took me 3 months before I could actually get the printer to accept it and print it.
Yeah. And you had, 3 other books ahead of that you had worked on and done?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
you weren't exactly new to this, right?
No, that was my 7th book released.
There you go. I mean,
unlike
WotC or Hasbro, whoever you want to call them, or I don't even want to say the Savage Worlds guys because they're actually a really small team as well. But you look at like Wizards of the Coast, they've got a fleet of people that work, in a corporate headquarters, and that is their 9-to-5 job. You not only, I assume go to your 9-to-5 job during the day.
I do.
You got to come home and work on this, and you're under deadlines because if you're lucky enough for it to be a successful Kickstarter, people just assume, oh, the money comes rolling in and everything's golden. No, now you've got a product you've got to push out, and you've got to make people happy, and if you put out shit, the public will throw it back at you. I mean, that's just, that's how it goes,
yes.
Because sadly, in this day and age, we're all 800-pound gorillas behind the keyboard, Well, it's true. It's easy to sit behind the keyboard and go, oh, you're a fucking asshole and you suck. And, see that person face to face and they'll be like, oh, hi, how are you? Okay, have a nice day. Yeah. Am I right? I mean,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure. I assume you have a family or a girlfriend or something, significant other, murder bot. I don't know what you have at your house, but you have other things. But this, unfortunately, though, the game production process becomes your life.
Yes. I often joke with my girlfriend that I have two loves in my life, and that's her and RPGs, and just gotta split the time.
That's funny because I told my wife I had two loves in my life. I said the hooker and my RPGs. The couch is very comfortable at my house, by the way.
That's important. It's important to have a comfortable couch.
I made sure of that when we got married. No, I love my wife, and she supports me. And I went downstairs. I'm like, can you shut the fucking kid up? I'm trying to record a video. And she's like, oh, sorry. No, but he's 1 month. He's 1 year and 1 month. So he doesn't listen. If you say be quiet, he goes wah. And he makes a ton more noise because he thinks that's funny. And he's obviously my kid. He's an asshole. But I love him dearly, and it keeps me young, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So yeah, that's one of the fallacies that I think a lot of people have, is that you did a Kickstarter, it was successful, you made, in their eyes, you made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But when it's all said and done, everybody I've talked to so far said, like the one guy I talked to, he said he made $12,000. He was only expecting about $10,000. And so, he met his goal and he exceeded it a little bit. And he still wind up having to pull out money out of his 401k to meet the production costs and everything. So for those people that back a Kickstarter and they become that 800-pound gorilla behind the keyboard, take a second and think about what guys like Daniel are going through and how much stress. This is bar none, the RPG industry is a labor of love. It is not a get-rich scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not a, I'm going to make millions of dollars and I'm going to retire. You're still poor, right? I mean, I can tell by the art behind you that I mean, I didn't mean that like that, but you know what I mean.
It's all right.
I've been picking on his picture, ladies and gentlemen, from the moment we started. I actually like it, but
I hung it just for you.
I of course. Why wouldn't you? But yeah, I mean, it's not this. It's not like someone just put $1 million in your bank account and said go vacation in Tahiti. After the Kickstarter funds, that's when the really hard work begins. Mm-hmm. Because now you've got a viable deadline in front of you that if you don't hit that deadline, people come out of the woodwork, to accuse you, and it. As much as Kickstarter is a boon to the gaming industry, it's also a bane in that it can make or break a company, a small press publishing company.
It can definitely be difficult, and one of the things I keep telling my team, I have a couple writers and they get really excited, like, oh man, someone reviewed our game. And then they read the review and they're like, wow, I hate this guy. And I'm like, look, my experience has been, especially in the RPG industry, like if you get really negative feedback, then that means that someone really, really loves your game. And, they're nitpicking and they're nitpicking because they can nitpick, It's so easy for me to look through a book and be like, man, this art's great. And these words were fantastic. And I can leave a review and be happy. The people who leave negative reviews, those people really read it. Like they built characters, they played games, they really got into it. And when they leave negative reviews, like, man, I've had so many negative reviews where I'll run into that person at a convention and they'll come up and they'll just be excited and they'll buy all my new stuff. And they are a blast to game with, and then they go home and they leave this super negative review again, and I love it. I think it's such a funny thing, when we release a product and I hear nothing,
that's when you need to be nervous.
Oh man, I kind of freak out, and I'm like, okay, what did we do wrong? Can someone please tell me? Do you want a free copy of this book so you can tell me what I did wrong? What? How do I fix that now? But no. Bad news is good news.
Yeah, and the thing is, a review is a review. Like the old saying goes, back in the newsy days, there's no such thing as bad press.
Exactly.
Because even if you put out a shitty review. Now, I can say on the Mr. Mean channel, I've only done one negative review, and it was for a dead game. I literally have reviewed, I don't know, about 100 plus games. Mm-hmm. Some of them I may have done once or twice. I've done 2 or 3 reviews for DCC because it's near and dear to my heart. Mutant Chronicles, I've done a couple. The Dark Eye is one of the games I love dearly. So there's a couple of those that have, I've done new product releases and reviews of that said product. But there's only been one game that I reviewed where I said, this is shit. If you see it on a shelf, burn the building down. But that game is dead. The people that made that game, I don't even know where they are anymore. Mm-hmm. And I got, and same thing with YouTube content. People are quick to criticize and they don't understand what goes into producing YouTube. I'm a one-man show. So I have to edit everything. And I learned all the software on my own, and you can tell my videos are raw. I mean, I'm no Dan Rather, let's put it that way. But I do this mostly for fun, and because there was a void where nobody was talking about indie press games. Mm-hmm. Every YouTube channel out there will watch my D&D stream. Well, that's nice, but we've got enough of that. And the fact that a bunch of people tune in, and I get a lot of feedback. I've gotten one very negative review where I had a cold, and I prefaced my video by saying, hey guys, I'm recovering from a cold. I'm sorry if I cough, but I wanted to get this video out because I know in the next week I'm not going to have time. And this guy chewed me up left and right. You suck, coming on there sneezing and blowing your nose. That's disgusting. Rah, rah, rah. I mean, paragraph after paragraph about what a dick I am. And while I am a dick, and I fully admit that, it was like, wow, why do you got to be so violent about it, dude? And then I went and I checked his YouTube channel. No content. Nothing. So, in my opinion, your argument is invalid because you haven't put any content up. You haven't been constructive in your criticism, because let's face it, constructive criticism, positive or negative, is still criticism, and it is good. Yeah. You take it and you learn from it, and I tried to, what did I learn from that negative comment? Don't do a video when you have a cold.
That's great.
So the guy had a point, and he had a very valid point. Did he have to be a toad about it? No, he didn't. He chose to be, because it's the 800-pound gorilla syndrome. He was behind his keyboard. He was a big man. The picture of him is this little skinny, scrawny old guy, and I'm like, well, if that's really him, I'm so intimidated. But I thank him in the long run because he taught me something. The thing is if you're not at your best, don't get in front of the camera, because I'm not getting paid for this. I don't get anything out of this except the sheer enjoyment of getting to talk to people like you. And that's why I do this. It's fun for me. And I've learned so much from all you guys that are in the industry, because I'm on the outside leeching off of your fame. We got 8 viewers now, so you're one more closer to fandom. But you see what I'm saying, and it's being a content creator of any kind, whether it's your own thing like what I do, or it's a published art form like what you do, is not easy. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of stress. I mean, look, my beard's all fucking gray. I'm only 20 years old. Psych. I'm like 51. But you know what I'm saying. So, and let's just change gears real quick. You have a Discord channel, yes?
I do have a Discord channel.
Yeah, and you also have a Facebook channel.
Well, I have a Facebook channel.
Yes, we'll put those links if you'll send them to me, and we can do it over Discord on our private chat. But I'll make sure I put those links in this feed so that people can come see you. And if you guys go and join his Facebook or his Discord, please tell him Mr. Mean sent you. It'd mean a lot to me. I know he doesn't care; he's a jerk, but I care. I'm sorry, Daniel. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that.
I mean, you call it like it is. It's fine.
I got nothing but love for you. I'm jealous of the red beard, man. Yeah, rub it in. Mine's all gray. You're gonna get there one day, sir. You'll get there.
Oh, one day I will. Yes, but then I'll be a really nice silver color. That's what I
silver fox. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I got you beat in one category though. I don't want
to. I got a little. I can't do that.
Hey, man. You know what? I tease my wife all the time because I'm like, if I start going bald, I'm just gonna shave it all off. I'm gonna be Telly Savalas. I'm gonna have a lollipop. Who loves you, baby? I mean, nobody probably gets that reference, but that's okay. No, thanks a lot, man. throw me under the bus. So let's see. So we've got the Discord, we've got the Facebook, we've got what's the website?
It's parlorgaming.com. And that's just PARLOR gaming.com.
Spelled like it sounds. Parlor
gaming. You want the American spelling instead of the British spelling.
Yes.
There's no random U in it.
And I will say it's a very clean website. I did go to it. And of course, I'll put links in the show notes below. Nice, easy to navigate website. And you've got a shopping cart on there so people can buy from there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
I thought I saw that.
Oh yeah.
So let's see what else. So we've talked about, and what's the name of what's the 2 games you're working on right now again?
So the 2 games that we're primarily working on is Retroscape, our sci-fi game, and then Volcanic Legends.
Volcanic Legend.
Yeah.
Now, are either one of these games going to use the same D12 mechanic, or is it going to be a totally new system?
No, so this is a new system that we've been developing. So we listened to all that constructive feedback on Tephra, and we've been kind of revamping some things, tweaking some things. We wanted a game that is a little faster to play and a little faster to get into.
So people complain that the Tephra D12 system wasn't fast enough?
People don't complain, but I'm OCD. So,
because dude, that game plays. I've run it a couple times now, and I gotta say, it's a super easy system, and it's a D12, 1 die. That's all you need. You don't need a bunch of D6s. You don't need D10s. You don't. I mean, 1 D12, and you've got everything you need. So I don't understand what you are majorly OCD, sir.
Yeah, so I gotta tell you, so when we were first developing Tephra, I was that guy. I would sit at a table of Tephra players with a stopwatch, and I would time each player's turn and create a timetable of how long turns were taking. And then I would also like break down like, okay, so like on a per action point basis, they were spending this much time. You know, the different player builds would spend different amounts of time. Like the crafter would have shorter turns, the archer would have longer turns. You know, like I was really kind of building out what those numbers meant. And that sort of mentality has kind of continued on with me. Whereas, okay, so back in my college days, I would run a lot of D&D games, and I hated when a player would wait till their turn, they would go, and then they would say, hey, it's going to be like 25 minutes till my next turn. I'm going to run down to the Taco Bell. Does anyone want anything?
Oh, that's so rude.
And I was like, I can't argue with it. Like, I couldn't be like, oh, well, no, you have to be here because you have to pay attention or something. Like, there was no point for them to be here. Like, their character's going to stay there. Someone else can, like, take their damage if they need to. They can run to the Taco Bell and get everyone food. Great. I don't want that. I want...
Yeah. That's a pet peeve in my games, too. I want your undivided attention. I don't think it's too much to ask for. And I'll be honest, in the Tephra games that I've run, I haven't run into that problem. Now, I don't know if it's the way I run games or what I do that's different. I got a good friend, Joshua. He's running D&D. We've got 7 players in our D&D game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have 7. 6 or 7. 6. We have 6 players, which is a little bit bigger than the normal.
Right.
Normally you have about 3 or 4, maybe 5. We've got 6. And Joshua is a good GM, first of all, because if he can keep me entertained, then he's doing a good job. Because I am a center stage hog.
That's how I define good GMs.
Yeah, I mean, and those are the guys that make the best GMs because they love to be flamboyant and silly and everything. But that being said, we're playing a 5th edition game, and I'm playing a monk, Dragonborn monk, and I was not bored once in his game last night. And we played for 5 hours straight, and it was pretty much 5 hours. There was probably an hour and a half of chatting and role playing, and then the rest of the time was the big combat that we did. And he kept the action flowing. Everybody was participating. Nobody was surfing on their phone or doing anything. So I really think I think it has a lot to do with the GM and the players. When I run a game, I set the expectation. I tell my players right up, I don't want you playing on your phone. I don't want you surfing on your laptop. If you're using your laptop for the game or the tablet, your tablet PC for the game, that's fine. But I don't want you ordering pizza. Unless we take a break. We have a very established game group. We've all been gaming together for well over a year now. Some of us, and some of us right at a year. And yeah, so that's I think that. And not to belittle what you're saying, I get what you're saying, that it's your baby. It's never going to be perfect.
Absolutely.
It's not. It's not. It's one of those things that it's yours. You created it with you and your friends, and it's never going in your mind. You know, it's like an artist when they draw a picture. An artist is his own worst or her own worst critic. They see their art and they go, oh, I could have did this or I could have done that. And it's the same thing when you open up that book, you go, oh, I could have changed, I could have reworded that. I could, you know, or this art should have been over here. You know, you're your own worst critic. And so there's a point where you have to just put it down and walk away and go, it's good. You know, is it perfect? No. But in your eyes, in all fairness, I'm here to tell you, and you probably already know this, it will never be perfect in your eyes, right?
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's that's just the way it works. I mean, we're human beings, and we have that innate strive for perfection, you know. And it's hard. It's hard to me. I mean, I go back. My videos are so raw and they're goofy, and I'm a big dork, and I have fun with it. But then I go back and I watch my video, and it's self-torture. It really. I'm a masochist. I like to torture myself because I watch the video and go, oh, why did I say that? Or why was I picking my nose right there? You know? So I get it. I get it. It's really hard when it's a labor of love that is yours, you know? So we've got those two games. I'm going to go back, and I hate to do this to you, but I love Tephra. What's new on the horizon, if anything, for Tephra?
I'm glad you asked. So last week, we released, I call it Machinations for short. The full title is The Maniacal Machinations of the Madman. And so Machinations is it's a 3-part adventure saga. It's designed to keep your table occupied for like 9 to 12 gaming sessions.
Ooh, great.
So there's a lot going on. You know, it goes through multiple cities. It's a lot. It's a great adventure. We've been working on that adventure for way too long, and so I'm super excited for it to be out and released in people's hands. And I look forward to hearing feedback. Because if I hear nothing, I'm gonna freak out.
Hey, everybody, don't say anything about it at all. Let's drive him crazy.
After that, we're looking at hopefully getting out some lore stuff. The main feedback I always get is that there's just not enough lore on Tephra. People want to know more about the world.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. Of course I was.
Yeah, that feedback is unanimous. We know that, and I just sent an email apology to someone earlier today who was like, "Hey, why'd y'all release an adventure? I want a world book." And I'm like, "I know, I'm sorry. It was just so close, and we had the art done. I don't."
Sorry for giving you new content. God, I'm such a dick. No one's ever happy.
Well, so we're working on lore. We're excited to release lore. We have a ton of material that we just need to kind of wrap up and get out there because I know people are hungry for it. So
Is there going to be any new Kickstarters for Tephra, or are you just going to release them through your own web store and drive-through?
At the moment, I don't think that we need a Kickstarter.
I agree.
I think we're doing pretty well, and I think we've kind of built a good process for getting new material out there. I think at some point, especially with Retroscape, which I expect to be a much bigger undertaking, that one could use a Kickstarter. But I find that Kickstarters are a little volatile, and they don't accurately reflect a self-built community. So what I ideally want to move towards is more of a Patreon model at some point, where we can, get people to support us, and we can release content every month, and kind of self-grow the community in that way. But yeah, if there comes a point where I'm like, okay, I want to release this 400-page hardcover book in full color, you can bet your pants I'm going to be getting a Kickstarter up and running.
Yeah, and prepared for all the headaches that come with it.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Kickstarter is such a great, phenomenal thing, and it's been a boon to, I think, really technology and self-publishing, whether it be role-playing games, fantasy fiction, romance novels. If you go on Kickstarter, you can find every genre that you're looking for. Somebody's looking for help, and that's great. If you read a chapter or two and you really like what you read, you can back it, and boom, this will become a reality. It may not happen as fast as you like, but it will happen. So one of the things I did a review, I did a rant last week or early this week. I don't even know. I'm crazy. But I'm sure you've heard about the Palladium Books debacle and the Robotech license.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any feeling or thought on that? Being a Kickstarter person and looking to use Kickstarter as another medium, I don't know. Are you familiar with what all happened? And
I'm only passingly familiar. You wanna go over it for me?
Well, basically, Palladium Books had the license to Robotech, which is a beloved anime from everybody, and they were producing RPGs for it using their system. The American holder of the license, Harmony Gold, had released the license to Palladium Books, and they've had it for a couple years now, well over like 10, 15 years. And so Palladium got this great idea. We're going to go to Kickstarter, and we're going to release a miniatures game. And they came on Kickstarter and they said, we've got the rules all made. We've got the models rendered, the STL files for 3D printing. All we need to do is the capital money to put it all together and ship it out to you guys. They raised something like, and don't quote me because the internet will jump on me like violent piranhas in a blood-filled pool, like $1.75 million. That's how much money they raised.
Yeah.
And well, after 5 years, people still don't have all their shit.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. And so then Kevin Symbieta, the owner of Palladium Books, came out and said, hey, guys, I'm sorry. Shit hit the fan. Everything's falling apart. Things went south. So what I'm going to do is, in order to make it right to you guys, I'm going to charge you more money and send you more Wave 1 stuff that you really don't want so that I can get rid of my stock. Now, that's me, of course, paraphrasing, but that's really what it boiled down to. And of course, the 800-pound gorillas behind the keyboards, responded as you think they would. And so it's very volatile. It's a sad situation. I feel bad for Kevin in the aspect that he really let his public down. He let his fans and his supporters down. And I think it's also a lesson to other would-be Kickstarters when you raise a fuck ton of money to spend it wisely. And I think one of the downsides of Kickstarters, I think there needs to be some sort of financial accountability built into the system to keep things like this from happening ever again. And there's been numerous Kickstarters. The Palladium Books one is high contrast because it's garnered so much attention, but there's a number of Kickstarters that have done this where the guys have taken the money and ran, just straight out illegal, undercover bullshit. Some people did get their Wave 1 product. So he did fulfill some of the Kickstarter. I believe he had some of the promise he said he's had. But what I was saying in my other video is, even Kickstarter is of that buyer beware. It's like buying a used car. If you don't take that car to your mechanic, your own mechanic or a trusted mechanic, and have it checked out thoroughly, you have no one to be mad at when the moment you drive it off the Kickstarter lot that the wheels fall off, but yourself. And that's kind of what's happened with these Palladium Books fans. And I feel for every one of them. I didn't back it because I've been a fan of Palladium Books for 20 years. Kevin has personally done me a solid. I had all my books stolen, and they sent me, the UPS guy came to my door and said, I'm not carrying this box. It's going to throw my fucking back out. You come get your own shit. I'm not joking. Yeah, the box was that heavy. It was easily 100+ pounds. And awesome. Hey, I got all these books back, and it was a great thing. But that being said, I've watched Palladium over the years, and it's always a woe is me situation. And that's sad. And whether it's true or not, I can't say. I'm not on the inside, looking out. But when they announced that Kickstarter, there's a little voice in the back of my head that said, danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger. And I just wasn't going to. I said, I'll wait for it to come out on the shelf, and I'll buy it from my favorite local game store, because then I'm supporting Palladium and I'm supporting my local game store.
Yes.
And so I avoided that Kickstarter. And don't get me wrong. I wanted to throw some money at it. The models looked amazing. I even saw, after Wave 1 shipped, the actual physical miniatures that came out for it were gorgeous. They were really well done. I didn't see too much of them being put together, so I can't speak to as the quality, but the overall look of everything they showed looked amazing. So, but long story short, people got hosed out of thousands of dollars. And no one is holding them accountable for the money, you know.
It's hard. It's so hard with Kickstarter to try and build, what that Kickstarter can look like. You have a Kickstarter that, with common e-commerce fulfillment, you're often looking at maybe a 20 to 30% profit margin. So once Kickstarter takes out its 10%, and you try running that production and getting that art, all of a sudden that 20 to 30% can dry up really quickly, especially if you have just one small mess up in the production run.
Right.
For me, my production run was about $3,000 more than I expected. And, like what you were getting to earlier, I spent, I paid for that $3,000 out of pocket. And I was a kid working at a sandwich shop right out of college. Like, I couldn't have afforded that $3,000. That was like a big medical bill or something. Like I went into debt that I spent the next 3 years recovering from. Thankfully it's all done now. I'm very happy, whatever. But, for me, that was the kind of scope that I was in. To run a $1.75 million Kickstarter, if you have that 5% margin of error, and you suddenly have to pay, what is that, $100,000 out of pocket because you slightly messed up on your numbers? Holy cow. That's crazy.
And then not communicate it to your backers.
Right.
That's the other thing, and then he's coming back and he's asking for more money for shipping. Oh, we'll ship you the wave 1 stuff in lieu of your wave 2 because they're not going to produce wave 2. He's just come out and said it's not going to happen. Oh, and on top of that, Harmony Gold has pulled the license from him.
Yeah. So there's
yeah. So any product he has sitting in a warehouse right now, if he doesn't liquidate it within whatever the contract expiration date is of that license, he's sitting on dead weight. So it's beyond, and he didn't factor in, and I don't know the full story, but evidently he didn't factor in the proper postage and shipping. And they went from, and this is the part where I cried bullshit. Supposedly the shipping service went from a dimension shipping or from a volume shipping to dimension shipping.
Oh, so I actually work in shipping in my real job. So what that tells me is that they cut the weight of the product and say the weight was 5 pounds. And then once they measured it, the dimensional weight was greater than those 5 pounds.
So they could make more money.
No. So the shipper makes more money,
So you're in shipping now. I would think, being an adult and living in the real world, that kind of thing doesn't happen overnight.
So that's a mistake on them. So
I don't think they're what I'm saying is I don't think they're going to say, okay, today is today's the 4th of March.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't send him a letter saying on the 5th of March we're going to change our shipping policy. They probably sent him a letter 3 weeks, 3 months in advance. These major shipping companies, and I don't know who he was using, if or whatever, but I can't logically, and I know nowadays a lot of businesses are stupid, but I just don't see a profitable business like any shipping company going, okay, this guy's shipping a ton of shit. We can hose him if we go from model X to model Y, and we'll tell him tomorrow, right before he's got to ship. I don't see that happening. Am I wrong in that?
I will say with nearly an 80% certainty, I can guess what happened.
Okay.
I bet that they took their product and they said, hey, this thing weighs 3 pounds. And so they went into a shipping calculator and they were like, okay, it's 3 pounds shipping to here. It's going to cost us this much. What they did not do was they didn't put the dimensions into the shipping calculator so that when they actually went to ship it and they put the dimensions into the shipping calculator, it was like, oh, that's an oversized package. It's going to actually cost you this much money.
Right.
And they were like, what? So one of my biggest issues when I ran my Kickstarter was actually international backing.
Yeah.
Was that I had built my Kickstarter under the impression that I was going to be shipping a soft cover print on demand book, and then I upgraded. I was like, oh, I have all this money. I can upgrade to a hardcover. It's going to be great. And I never redid my shipping calculations. And all of a sudden I have this book that's 2 pounds heavier than all my original shipping calculations. and I'm having to ship it to Thailand, and I'm like, oh, this book cost me $70 to ship. I made $30 from this person. It's going to cost me $70 to ship this book. I am hosed. That was a fun learning moment.
Right. Now in retrospect, this is a guy that's been in business for over 20 years and has been shipping all over the world.
I'm not going to defend him. He's
right. But what I'm saying is,
I'm going to defend myself.
but what I'm saying is, this is a guy in a business. Palladium Books has been in business for over 20 years. Has been shipping stuff for over 20 years. You can't tell me he didn't have an inkling of how this process was going to work.
Oh, I won't make that argument against you.
Up on his part, and I think that's and again, I don't want to come off as the 800-pound gorilla, but I think that was an excuse, a scam, a bullshit line on his part. I really do. That's my personal feeling. He's just coming out saying, "Oh, I need an excuse. Let me reach into the bag of excuses. Oh, right. shipping fucked me." Yeah. And he's blaming it on, the ethereal shipping demons that are out there evidently and change prices on you overnight. And I cry bullshit, So basically the moral of this is, when you go to your next Kickstarter, make sure you got the shipping shit straight.
Exactly.
And you will.
Well, for kickstarting, my learning lesson, actually, like, I made a lot of mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes. My biggest mistake was not communicating all of my mistakes to my backers.
Right.
I needed to go to my backers and be like, shit, I just found out that this book's going to cost me $70 to ship to Thailand. I still plan on doing it. However, it's going to take me some time.
Right.
Or I could have been like, hey, I can't do this one. Thailand backer, do you want your $30 back? Because it's going to be cheaper than, however you want to do.
To you,
Right. And
give you the PDF for free.
Yeah. So my issue was just the communication. I should have over communicated. And that's what I see with a lot of these Kickstarters where people are calling BS. I mean, this one sounds like a perfect example of like, look, like, you should have known that this was an issue 3 years ago. You should have seen this coming.
5 years, Daniel. 5 years. Could you imagine? One guy backed over $1,000. And he was a lawyer. He self-admits on the thing. He's a lawyer. He backed over $1,000 for this Kickstarter. Now, you as a Kickstarter provider, as a maker of product, you can probably count on one hand and have a couple fingers left over of how many $1,000 backers you had. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and you're welcome, by the way. Wait, wasn't me. Shit, I'm broke. I begged for free. I'm like, hey, can I have a copy of your book? But that's just, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. And it's good to know you're in the shipping industry and you said shed some light on that, because I'm reading his letter, and he wrote a huge letter to his backers. And I'm like, where was this communication in the last 5 years?
Right.
Because he's gushing in this letter saying, I let you all down. I'm so sorry. If you can just help me recover from this and just pay for the shipping, I'll send you whatever Wave 1 products that equate to the value of what you backed for Wave 2. He's not even giving them anything for free. But yet he spent, $1.75 million, or however much it was. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but somebody will post it in the notes or something below. But just, again, a ridiculous amount of money for a product that he never, in my opinion, never intended to deliver. And that's a shame. So I think we need to have some stronger verbiage, I guess is what I would say. Stronger rules. And I think a lot of the people that were responding to this on Kickstarter, and literally, I hope you die and maggots eat your eyeballs out from the inside. It was violent. But I think one of the things that I really want people to understand, and you being a Kickstarter survivor, is that this is not an easy task, no matter what the value is. It's a lot of work, and you're entering into a contract with people that says you're going to pay me X amount of money, and I'm going to give you X amount of product. And if that Kickstarter funds, if you meet that X dollar, whatever it may be, then you're, as the inventor, the purveyor, the product content creator, Your job now is to create the product.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's happening with a lot of these Kickstarters is people are going, I can make a shit ton of money. And then they realize, oh shit, I got to make it, and I think the smart way to go about this is to have it already made, have 99% of the work done and go to Kickstarter with it's like getting a business loan,
Yes.
When you apply for a business loan, you have to have a proposal. You have to have, what your expected revenue is, what the product, what is the widget you're going to be producing, and your mode of advertisement, and how much, and you have to lay out every dollar, before the bank will even look at it, and I don't think Kickstarter, I don't know for sure because I've never done a Kickstarter. I've only backed them. So I'm on the other side of it, but I don't know what Kickstarter actually asks you for. And it sounds to me like they're not asking you for anything.
No, it's very minimal.
Because the bottom line is they're going to get 10% whether you fund or not, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So now they get 10% of whatever is pledged or whatever they collect.
So it's okay. So if you don't hit your goal, then all the money's gone. Like you don't
get anything, and you pay Kickstarter anything.
You don't. It's just a failed Kickstarter. So it's a risk-free venture at that point. Right. But if you do hit your goal, then Kickstarter is taking, I know the numbers have changed, but it's around like 8%.
Right.
And so
I will say 10% for an even number.
Right. So when
hard for us Americans.
I funded my, $23,000 Kickstarter, like immediately $2,000 was gone.
Right.
Yeah, right into Kickstarter.
You're welcome, Kickstarter. Have a nice day.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Now, do they, because I don't know, and if you don't feel comfortable talking about this, please say I'd rather not say, but do they take that money right off the top, or do you get paid and you have to cut them a check?
No, so it's an immediate
they take it right off the top.
Yes. So I never saw
get their money.
Yes.
So in this case of this failed Kickstarter, hypothetically $175 million.
Yep.
They got a fat paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
And all they have is a little website.
The only person who won from that Kickstarter, it sounds like, was Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He got the money. They paid him the money.
Yeah, it's hard to know right there. Like,
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's easy to point the finger and go, "Oh, he's a crook." But on the flip side of that, if he did run into the problems that he's saying he ran into, which he very, devil's advocate, maybe he did.
Right.
And it did cost him. Obviously the easiest thing to say is poor planning. And that Palladium Books has a history of poor planning. I mean, if you've been a fan of theirs and you read the forums, every year it's helped save Palladium Books. And Kevin puts up this sob story. My wife left me, the dog bit. It's playing a country record, it's everything horrible. I lost my job. The coal mine shut down. My daughter has cancer and the dog bit me. I need money. And you can go back and look at his forums and you can see these, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's his model. That's how he runs his business. And people give him money. Yep. Hey, if that makes you feel good, I have no problem with that. I personally don't have that kind of money to give. I just don't. But I'm glad for people that do. And if they want to support him, I think that's awesome. That's good for him. And I don't know of one gamer that doesn't have at least one Palladium book on their shelf.
Yep.
I mean, you've probably got one or two.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, you may never play the game, but the art's cool, or there's material in there that you like. I mean, they've been around for 20 years. People have their stuff. It's just, that's the way it works. And so the gist of all of this is that it's the death knell for Palladium, that it's going to put the company under. And that's sad to me because they've been around for 20 plus years. And it's just the shame that this Kickstarter, no matter how it was mismanaged or unprofessionally done, or if it is just a comedy of errors, it's horrible that it's going to put this long-term business out of business, possibly, but they have a lot of diehard fans. I mean, so there were several people that said, yeah, send me wave one product for my thing, and we'll call it even. So for every 800-pound gorilla that was saying, fuck you, die, there was one that said, just send me the wave one stuff. Yes. So there's got to be something to it, right? I mean, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. The Kickstarter folks, I mean, my experience was that they were pretty gentle. Like, people who back Kickstarters generally pretty nice. There's definitely those 800-pound gorillas, but I think I'm a little bit of an optimist. Like, I imagine it was a comedy of errors. That sounds like the most accurate thing to me. I'm unlikely to say like he was a crook or he.
That's the ballpark I'm in.
Yeah, but
I think there was a little foul play there. I'm not going to lie. I do think there was
some mismanagement of money.
Yes,
you know, a little bit of hookers and blow.
Yeah, yeah. Did you say hookers and blow?
I did.
Oh, Daniel, you're coming on the show again, brother.
Anytime.
Yes. Yeah, I but okay, so we've beat that. Now I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. It's good to know you're in shipping, and so that's kind of a thing that I just felt that's kind of a cop out to me.
It often is.
Yeah, they changed the shipping on me overnight. No, I don't think that happened. I think they gave you plenty of warning, and maybe it didn't happen as fast as maybe he wanted, or he sat on it. He is a known procrastinator. So it is what it is. But that being said, we know that none of that will happen with Retroscape or anything else that Daniel Burrows has his hands in, and we're all gonna back it. We're all gonna, and then I always followed up with, "Where's my shit?" So any playtest copies you want to send my way, I'd be, PDFs, of course. I'll be more than happy. I'll actually get to see you at ChupacabreCon.
Excited for that.
Do you know about MagCon, MAGCON, in New Caney, Texas?
Yes. I haven't been to MagCon, so I can't speak to it. But okay, I'll put it on my list.
I'm just telling you, Mr. Mean says you should go.
All right.
I've been 3 years in a row. It's fantastic. It's a charity convention.
That's right.
Yeah. If you've ever been to Eden Games there in Humble, on the outskirts of Houston, David Donahoe works there. He's one of the teachers there, and it's a school for. I don't know the official term for it, but it's basically kids that got 1 foot in the prison system and 1 foot in death, or whatever it may be. I mean, this is their last chance to get their shit together and become productive members of society. And so he teaches these kids. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And it's a not-for-profit, and all the money that this convention raises goes right back into the school. And I think this is their 8th or 9th year. I don't remember. And it's a fun time, man. It's a private campus, so there's plenty of parking. There's food close by. It's really nice. So I hate to sound like I'm shilling away for MagCon, but I am, because it's a convention that I've gone to for the last 3 years, and I've had a blast all 3 times. And so I think everybody, if people can make it, they should go if they're in the area. And it's April 7th and 8th of this year. So I think Parlor Gaming, there we go, Parlor Gaming people. Parlor Gaming should be there and should represent. And if nothing else, contact Eden Games and at least get them to sell copies of your game.
Cool.
Because they will. They are a store in Humble, and they bring the store there to the convention, a large portion of it. And they sell a lot of product there, and they have door prizes every hour on the hour. It's awesome, dude. And like I said, the money goes to an actual worthwhile cause. So to help these kids out, because some of these kids do turn around and they get their life straight, which is awesome. It's always a good thing. But so you should go. I think you should pack your fiance, girlfriend up, and you should throw a couple copies of the game in the back of the Winnebago and roll out.
Sounds like a plan.
Pack the Scooby snacks and roll. So what else is Mr. Cracked Monocle into nowadays? What's your hobbies? What do you do for stress relief, and besides the weird things?
Mostly drink.
It's a good hobby.
I mean, been experimenting a lot with different craft cocktails, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that's actually that's kind of become my hobby with a hobby. Is I'll have people over, we'll play games, and I'll make drinks for everyone while they're making their character, and then we'll all sit down. We'll have fun individual drinks to go with our characters, and then we'll play the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is a really funny about face for me, because just a few years ago I banned alcohol from my games because I was tired of people getting wasted and then missing my awesome moments. And now I'm like, okay,
remember that? No, man, I don't. I was drunk. I'm sorry.
We're gonna have alcohol, but I'm gonna curate it.
Right. So you're the mixologist. No, that's cool if that's your thing, and that works out. And one of my big things about gaming is there's something in it for everybody.
Yes.
And that's the thing, if you're not into steampunk and you're into hard sci-fi, there's those games. If you're into, spaghetti westerns with meat, Deadlands, there's that game. I mean, whatever your niche is, there's something in it for you. And I think that's really cool. I think, that's the cool thing about role-playing games. You can find somewhere and you'll find someone else that's into that same thing.
Yeah.
Which is a great part of our community. And that's one of the parts I like. And let's face it, game conventions are one of the few places you can go and be accepted for who and what you are, for the most part. And that's kind of cool. My wife has a friend, Smoking Hot. I mean, she's in her late 40s, beautiful woman, can sing like an angel. And I'm at one of the local conventions in Lake Charles, and this chick comes running up to me and she's dressed like Iwan, and I didn't fucking recognize her. Didn't know who. I'm like, ooh, this hot chick's talking to me. Sweet, cool. Where's my wife? Oh shit, I'm in trouble. And then I realized, oh, it's my friend JT. I did not know that she was a cosplayer. And her costume, dude, I'm telling you, was spot on. She's a long brunette, and she had one little, hair done in the little Jedi pigtail, and she had a lightsaber. She had like a $300 lightsaber.
Oh, that's awesome.
The costume looked exactly like Obi-Wan's, and she made it herself. It was amazing. And and then she's like, oh yeah, when we play, XYZ video game, and I'm like, what? Because I play a lot of MMOs, and so I was like, what? Yeah, because she just looked like this, good-looking woman who sings, and she works, she's professional and everything, and I'm like, had no clue she was a closet gamer, But at this convention, I saw a side of her that I had never seen, because she's always very, prim and proper, and dotted her I's and crossed her T's, but yet here she is at the convention doing cartwheels across the lawn with a lightsaber, and I'm like, holy shit, who is this person? So, and my wife didn't even know, and my wife went to school there, knew her whole life. So that's the thing, you can't judge a book by its cover, and you'll run into all kinds of people at conventions, and you just might find somebody that's into the same shit you are, and that's what's cool. That's how I found you guys, because I go to conventions to play games that I normally don't get to play. Mm-hmm. And our local gaming group, I'm the guy that you're not going to get a campaign out of me. You're going to get 2 sessions if you're lucky, and then I'm moving on to the next game. But my group is okay with that, and we're lucky enough, we're all older now, and we game every Saturday, and it's pretty much an all-day affair. My wife takes my son, and then Sunday I come and hang out with her. Friday night is date night. We do our thing. So, I make it work for my family. Everybody's got a thing that they do.
Yeah.
And then I spend most of the day Sunday, except when I'm talking to jerks like you, I spend it with my son. So thanks for taking time away from my family. I appreciate that. You're top notch.
My pleasure.
No, I Sundays are the best day to do this, because it's usually pretty quiet for everybody, except for those guys that have a 12-hour writing day ahead of them.
Somehow.
Yeah, a couple more cocktails, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it makes the writing way easier.
Way easier. Yeah, I didn't know I could spell that. There were too many consonants in that word. I didn't know there were 32 letters in the alphabet. Yeah. So, but you have fun with it. Obviously, you can tell that you have a passion for what you do, it's very nice to see, and it's refreshing. And I hope, being on the channel here, I hope if it just gets even one person to go buy your product, then I feel it's a success, and I thank you for spending the time with me.
I absolutely enjoyed it.
Being silly. Is there anything you want to tell anybody before we call this thing quits?
No, I mean, aside from, I know John said he's going to post a link to our Discord, and I'll get that over to him, and come chat with us and hang out with us. We have a really, really active Discord, and we're trying to build a great community, and I think we're making some good strides there. Yeah. I like just chatting with people and seeing what they think. So
yeah, I mean, I'll tell everybody. I shot him an email. Did I shoot you an email? No, I did it over Discord.
Yep, sure did.
Because I'm the one that was on your Facebook going, hey, do you guys have a Discord channel? And by the way, he sent me the wrong link. Or he sent a dead link.
Discord links expire within 30 minutes.
Well, you have to check the little box. And I did the same thing, dude. I put it up on my YouTube. I was like, come join my Discord page. And everyone's like, asshole, it doesn't work. I'm like, what did I do? And it's a little tiny button you have to check to keep this link active, and it's easy to miss because you're so excited you got a link. And so, yeah. But Daniel was gracious enough. I messaged him via Discord and I said, hey, can I get you on the show? I do these reviews. And he obviously either he lied or he did remember me. I don't know. But he was nice enough to say yes. And here we are. And I hope for the last hour and about 15 minutes, I hope we've entertained people. I hope people have learned a little bit about Mr. Burrows. Is it Burrows or Burrows?
Burrow.
Burrow, right.
One hole.
What? Oh. Remember, folks, he went there, not me. Mr. Mean did not go there. But it's a nice hole, I might add. I got him. No, it's been a pleasure, sir, having you on the show. When the new games drop, I would love to have you more on the show, and we'll talk about them. And maybe when you do your Kickstarter, I can get you on the show or whatever you'd like to do. You just feel free to reach out to me and use my hole, and we'll fill it. You and I will fill the hole.
Fill that hole. I'm excited.
I mean, together we'll fill that hole. I mean, it's just we'll fill it. I mean, we'll make it happen, brother.
Have you been drinking? Because
funny little anecdote. Mr. Mean does not drink. I've been clean and sober for 8 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I realized that I don't need alcohol to be an asshole. I can do it all on my own. I don't need any stimuli. I can do it.
That's great.
No. I have nothing against drinking. I just I was a cop for 10 years and I saw a lot of bad things. And so I just woke up one morning and said, I don't want this to be a part of my life, but I don't stop anybody else from drinking.
And the funny thing is I will often complain to people that I hate the fact that I'll drink something and then I'll get buzzed. And I'm like, no, I don't want to get buzzed from this. I just want to enjoy a nice drink.
Yeah. I just like the taste. I don't want to, if I could get the taste without getting fucked up, it would be great.
Now I just need to figure out how to get the taste without getting the calories.
Yeah, well, and let me tell you, it doesn't get easier as you get older.
Oh, I know. I know.
You get moobs. Moobs are not sexy on guys. You know what a moob is, right?
Oh, yes, I do.
It's a man boob. Man boobs are not sexy, yeah. And then if they're hairy, it's even worse. Guess who's hairy with man boobs? Yeah. Well, I'm a catch. My wife is so lucky. No, but in all seriousness, Daniel, thank you for being on the show. It's been a hoot. I am so looking forward to the new games. Playtester copy, please. Shill it away. I'm poor. And I live in Beaumont. That's all the sadness I need to say right there. Our water is not drinkable. How's that? Yeah, it's horrible. But I definitely would like to get you on the show to pimp your newest products when they're out. It would be my pleasure to do this again with you. And I hope everybody who's watched has enjoyed. If you have any questions or whatever, follow the links in the show notes. I'll put them up after this is up. It takes YouTube literally seconds to post this, which is why I like to do it live, because then I don't have to render it through my software and everything. Of course, there's very little editing. I don't edit this. I think it's just, it goes up. So again, a heartfelt, from me to you. Thank you, sir. It was a blast. I wish you much success in the future. And I look forward to maybe gaming with you at ChupacabraCon or maybe even MagCon if I can get you out there. As always, again, just thank you. It was a lot of fun, sir. I appreciate you taking the time to spend your time with me and the whopping 8 viewers. We'll get a lot more hits on this once it actually goes up on all the various different channels. And you did say it was okay to put a copy up on your channel, yes?
Absolutely. Yes, yeah. Please.
All right. And as always, to everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If this little hour brought some joy to you, give a like and hit that bell. You'll get notified when I post new videos. Again, Daniel, thank you so much. Pimp the games one more time. What 3 games do we got out there?
Tephra the Steampunk RPG, which is already out. And then we're working on Scape and Volcanic Legends. And if you want to check those out, hit our Discord, join our community, and we'll give you all the playtesting material you can dream of.
Guys, you can't ask for more than that. So as always, Mr. Mean's going to say peace and hair grease. And as always, be nice.